Okay, so for my poetry project, I choose the two poems that we're meeting at the night on Wild Nights by Juan Camilo Barrera, Peñaranda. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the authors. And so the author of Meeting at the Night is Robert Browning, and the author for Wild Nights is Emily Dixon. So the first one is that Robert Browning was born on May 7 of 1812 on London, and he died on December 12 of 1889 on Venice, Italy. He was an English poet, and he was like most known for his way of writing poetry or the literary compositions, because he added like a sense of irony on it, and it was like a dark humor behind all of his vocabulary and that. So the other author is Emily Dixon, and she was born on December 10 of 1830 on Massachusetts, and she died on May 15 of 1886 on Massachusetts also. And she was an American poet. She was not known very much during her entire lifetime. Only that later she became like one of the most important figures on poetry on all time, I think. Okay, so first here I'm gonna show like different symbols, literary devices, tone, and the speaker and audience that I found on this poem. I was going to show like a video of a man talking about the poem, but I think we could use that later. Okay, so first a short summary. So this short poem treats about the protagonist, which is mainly a man that goes like through an entire journey in order to get to his so beloved like lover. And like the main point that they want to get is that they want to reunite, making that two hearts beating stay together again. So first, the speaker is the protagonist, as I told before, and like the man is the main character, and he's the one that wants to meet like with his lover. And I think that this poem is directed to the audience, trying to tell us that the path or journey that we need to take, um, like we need to take like good decisions in order to achieve love in a relationship. I think that is that way. So the other things are some symbols that I found that were yellow half moon large, and that is the meaning for a symbol for time and how like time goes by and how it progresses. And the next symbol is as I gain in the cove. The cove would be like a symbol for shelter or to hide from that wave that the protagonist talks about, and that they are all right over here. I'm gonna annotate it. These little waves that she's talking about. So next. Okay, so at the end, the last I have is the gray sea, that the gray sea, yellow half moon, blue sport, and log bank lifestyle. Like all of this is color symbolism, and this is used like to generate an impact in the text and to make like the reader focus more and like know the ideas or concepts. Okay, so the next thing are some literary devices, and the first I found was a police indicator. And as you can see, there is a repetition over here. I'm gonna show you in different conjunctions. So here in and the other one in and. So that's why that is a literary device. And the next one would be a personification, which talks about little waves that leap, when in reality, waves don't really leap. So that's why I choose that literary device. And for next, I have a metaphor, and like it's used like the same phrase that waves that leap and fear ringlets, but here is that the waves are compared to something and would be the fiery or fire, but in reality, waves don't have fire, so that would be something that contradicts itself. So the next one I found is an onomatopoeia, and it's unquenching speed in the slushy sand and quick sharp scratch. Like it was like it's a confusing word, and like they connect like in some way. I think so. So another one is the adding to all that, the metaphors are mainly to compare like the waves with other things, as I tell before. And I find for last another metaphor that was two hearts beating each to each. So referring finally to the couple, which is like where it tells all about the text. Okay, so the next one would be the tone. So let me erase this first. The next one would be the tone. So the tone would be like a passion tone or also romantic due to a protagonist that wants to meet his lover, as I said before. Okay, so the next analysis is gonna be about Wild Nights, and I also had a video here, but I think that took too much time, so I'm not gonna put it. Okay, so first, there's a short summary about it, like the last one. So Wild Nights is about the protagonist that, if we can see here, compared to the last one, in this text, the author is talking in general about his feelings about a lover. So we don't know the name of who's that person that she loves, but in general, we know that she's feeling passion with him, and it talks like some aspects of beauty and other aspects in general. Okay, so the protagonist is pretty easy. As we know, it would be Emily Dixon, and she's talking to his lover in general. And well, to the audience, they're trying to show like the passion between a couple and the desire to have sex, which is like some adults want in general. Okay, for symbols, I found three symbols which were done with the compass, and that refers to it's what guides us through a long journey, and it's what helps us to find like our true love. And the next one would be rowing in the Eden. Like Eden is a symbol and that's used. I think that could be used as a metaphor too, because it is shown like representing the garden where Adam and Eve go, like representing a very beautiful place. I think so. For last, I have the Wild Nights that is like the own title that is a symbol for passion and love between a couple or in general having sex, I think. Finally, I found some literary devices which were repetition, or I think it could be anaphora, which it tells wild nights and wild nights, which is repeated like three times in the text, I think so. And the next one I found was a metaphor, which was heart in a port, referring to a port where the heart mainly belongs, and it stays like there all the time. And so the next one would be another metaphor, and it talks of the sea. And this is referring the complexity of the response for the woman's response. And I would tell like it's for maybe for them getting married or something like that. I'm not sure. So the next one would be imagery. And in the Eden, as we can see before, it refers to Adam and Eve and how beautiful they were like no sé, campus, creo. Pero it represents the emotion and journey in general. So at the end, the tone of this poem, I think it would be like affirmative, and it expresses the qualities of love and the passion between a couple in sex in general. And I think all of this it shows since the beginning in the title, talking about wild nights. Okay, so there's some connections I found between the two poems that I'm gonna show. So the first one is that both poems reflect passion and love in different relationships in general and the journey they have to take in order to have like healthy or wealthy relationships in couples in general, I think. Right. So the second one is the use of repetition. Is that in both poems they talk about nights, night, or different things. So I think they have like some relationship on that. And for last, I have the nature of the human, which is being involved in this poem, and how people used to love each other. So the section for the author's message, I would say that in Meeting at the Night, the message is the urgency for the protagonist to meet his beloved and the journey they have to take to get until that point, which is the like healthy relationship. And for Walnuts, the other poem would be the message is like a clear expression of joy, and the Walnuts show like the passion they have between each other, and like they look that as a treasure, and to their nights of passion and love. Okay, so for last, I'm gonna add like a questionnaire, but I'm gonna show it to you on the class.